Hello and welcome back to another Retro Core hardware review, and today we're going to be taking another look at the Q90. But as you can see today I have two Q90s set up. This one has been flashed with the custom firmware and this is the original one. Now, does the custom firmware on this model make any difference to the stock firmware? Well, that's what we're here to find out. Is it worth customizing these things? So let's switch both of them on together. Okay, let's see if I can do this simultaneously. Here we go, switch on now. Alright, so now as you can see, they both have different boot up animations. And yeah, that one boots up a lot quicker, although I did switch it on a little bit quicker as well. Okay, so let's get back to the start menu of each one. Now let's see, as you can see, the custom firmware does give you a lot more software to play around with. If we move on to the actual emulators, well, moving down here, you can see the screen doesn't scroll. So we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 emulators. But with the custom firmware, we got a lot more. So we got the 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Oh no, we haven't. I've come back around. So we've got 24 emulators on the custom firmware version, and the menu is pretty nice. Okay, taking a look at the Linux games built in. Well, with the base software we have, standard amount of games. With the custom software we have more games. Alright. So you do get a lot more Linux software as well with your custom firmware. Okay, and moving over to the accessories, well, it's the same thing. We have the settings, the skin, the about screen and the power. Now the thing is, with the custom firmware you have to use the power option to shut it down, otherwise you're going to corrupt the actual FAT32 section of the memory card. I don't know why it does that, but it seems to do it. This one, you can just hit the power switch, no problem. Anyway, let's take a look at the emulation and see if it's any better with custom firmware. So systems that had issues with emulation are the PlayStation and the Super Nintendo. Let's take a look. Okay, so we have two Super Nintendo emulators on the custom firmware. We have SNES and Pocket SNES. We'll go with Pocket SNES and see how that works. Okay, so I believe it's A button on both. No, oh, there we go. So yeah, as you can see, that was a lot slower to boot up than this was. Okay, let's pick the same game. I've got the exact same ROMs on both systems. Now using this emulator, you can see the colors are a lot better on this one, especially the reds. I wonder if that's to do with the screen. Ah, okay. So on this emulator we've got the flashing red background, but it's missing on the stock version. Okay, we got the flash on this one, which should happen, but it didn't appear on that one. Okay, let's start the game. Okay, let's get moving, see if they both move at the same frame rate. Wow, the stock version is smoother, you can see it. Let's move back. Alright, we can clearly see that the stock version is smoother on the scrolling. Okay, so I'm just wondering if it's the emulator we're using. Let's switch to the other emulator on this system. Okay, so now we're using the different SNES emulator on the custom firmware version, and we can see that they are both running identically. No difference whatsoever. So let's take a look at F-Zero, because that is a game that has some big issues on these devices. Okay, straight away the stock version is running slower than the custom version. Let's just wait for the demo to come on. Yeah, that's running a lot quicker than this one is. Okay, so the stock firmware is making a difference here. Okay, let's start the games up. This one's going nuts on the sound. Just listen to this. It's too fast. Okay, and this version. That's kind of running at the correct speed. Okay, let's get the games going. Slower. Okay, now that seems to be running a bit crazy here. And that one seems to be running a lot slower. Okay, but let's just listen to the audio. Here's the custom firmware version. Oh, game over. Well, it seems to be at the right speed. Let's hear this one. Yeah, much slower, I'm sure you can tell. Okay, let's take a look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, see how that runs on both devices. Okay, Konami logo was jerkier on that and smoother on the custom firmware. Much smoother on the custom firmware. Stop on. Krang, he was missing on both of them. Okay, let's take a look at the scrolling. It's way jerkier. Yeah. You can see it is much smoother on the custom firmware. Okay, so another system that had a problem with the original firmware was the PC Engine. The controls just didn't work. So let's take a look. Okay, let's see. Seems to be marginally smoother on the custom firmware. Maybe. If you want to slow down this footage and count the frames, be my guest. Okay, let's see if the actual game works. Oops. Both feel exactly the same to control, and what you know, the controls are actually working on the original firmware now. It didn't when I originally reviewed this. Yep. Both versions have the buttons configured correctly. Alright, let's take a look at PlayStation. Now, PlayStation was pretty bad on the original version. Let's see if the custom firmware can fix the PlayStation. Okay, so let's see. The custom firmware is running at 49 frames per second. The stock firmware is 60 frames per second. Interesting. Now this is an interesting one. The stock firmware seems to be performing better. Okay, that's gone to 60 frames per second now, and this one has also jumped to 60 frames per second. But the custom firmware is running slower than the stock. Now I didn't expect that. Okay, let's drop down to... Okay, that's running about 50... Yeah, it's kind of fluctuating. You can see it there. It's about 59. This is... can't see it. 49, 53 is that. Ah, now it's 60. Now it's dropped down again. So as you can see, doesn't seem to be improving much on this particular game. Let's take a look at a different game. Okay, so yeah, that seems to be running 60 frames per second, 59 frames per second on here. For some reason the frame counter is now missing off this one. Don't know what happened to the frame counter. So let's just get out of that. Start button maybe. Yeah. And let me get the frame counter back up on the stock firmware. Okay, so we're both on the title screen and they are both running at 60 frames per second. Alright, let's start both games up. Nope, start button maybe. Alright, 56 frames. 59, 60 frames. Okay, so that is running quicker already, the stock firmware. And this sounds quite juddery on the custom firmware. Okay, both versions seem to be running the FMV intro perfectly fine. No skipping audio from either of them. Although this does seem to be running a little bit slower. Can we skip this? No, we can't skip it. The stock firmware is definitely running the video footage slower than the custom firmware. That's very interesting. I didn't expect FMV footage to deviate in speed. Okay, so here we go. Custom firmware is running around about 57 frames per second, fluctuating a little bit. The stock firmware is a solid 60. Oh, dropping a little bit there, but yeah, it's about 60. Okay, let's walk up the stairs. Let's see which one performs better. Oop, wrong way. I'd say the stock firmware is holding up better here. Okay, so there you go. PlayStation wise, it would seem that stock firmware is slightly better than custom firmware. Interesting. Okay, so both machines are running Final Burn Alpha here. I've got to say that I do prefer the stock front end compared to the custom front end, but anyway, it's all about the emulation. Let's see which one runs Art of Fighting better. Here we go. Okay, that comes up with the UniBIOS. That's kind of annoying because now it's knocked the speed off. I think the custom sounds a bit better. Both sound good. Both seem to be moving just fine. You can tell from the shadows here. Different button configuration. Oh yeah, looking at both, they both seem to be performing pretty well. Okay, let's take a look at Carrier Wing, which is a Capcom CPS game. Both seem to be moving pretty smoothly there. Insert the coin. Yeah, I kind of find it weird, the button layout's different. The main select on this is A, on this one it's B. Both units sound good from what I can tell. Let's look for screen tearing. They seem to be pretty much the same, to be honest. Doesn't seem to be much difference. Okay, so let's take a look at the Linux port of a game. Let's check out Quake 2. Alright. Okay, well as you can see, the custom firmware booted it much quicker than the stock firmware. Let's start the game up. Now that's kind of weird. Now it loaded quicker on this one. Okay, let's just check out the movement. Don't know, can you tell the difference? Oh, now we can. Maybe. Yeah, you can see some deviation in speed there. Maybe. So there you go, two versions of the Q90, one with the original firmware and one with custom firmware. But is it really worth going to the hassle of putting in the custom firmware? Well, as you can see the PlayStation emulation isn't any better on the custom firmware. In fact, it might be a little bit worse. Or at least that's the results we got when we tested both side by side. But on the other hand, Super Nintendo, we get two options for emulation on the custom firmware, and while using the same emulator on both, we did seem to get better results maybe on the custom firmware than the stock. But then again, some games may run better on the stock. It's hard to say without testing through everything. But one thing I can say for sure is the custom firmware does have a lot more variety in the actual software than the stock firmware does. So if you're looking for something to be able to play PlayStation games absolutely perfectly, it's not going to happen with this device. And you shouldn't expect it to either, because this device is extremely cheap. You can't expect it to run PlayStation games. PlayStation games that it does run perfectly fine are just a bonus, really. I don't think this thing is designed to run PlayStation games. But, you know, for your 16-bit and your 8-bit stuff, definitely worth checking out. Oh yeah, on PC Engine. For some reason, the controls are now working on the original firmware where they didn't when I first reviewed it, and I think I know why. The original firmware has 6-button control pads switched on as default, and for some reason that was affecting the saving of the controls. So if you remember the original video, which I'll put a link to in the video description down below, I couldn't change the controls on the PC Engine emulation, and I think that's why, because once I switched off those 6-button control options, I could configure the controls to work on the stock firmware. With the custom firmware, everything worked just fine, straight from the get-go, so no problems there. Anyway, next time we'll be taking a look at gaming on a budget tablet. Is a budget tablet the way to go if you want to play some high-end emulation such as Nintendo 64, maybe Sega Saturn and Dreamcast? Well, tune in next time and find out. Until then guys, keep on gaming and enjoy your games. See ya!